Thank you for joining me. My name is Rebecca Smith, and I'm an attorney here in San Antonio, Texas. Today is September 28th of 2022, and the information that you're going to receive here is valid as to of that date, but please understand that things do change. The purpose of today's talk is for informational purposes only and is not meant to be specific legal advice. So I wanted to talk a little bit about assumed names or doing business as DBAs. An assumed name is nothing more than a mask. It is simply a name that you use for part of branding or a portion of your business. And whatever stands behind that name, right, is what's legally accountable for the conduct of that assumed name. So if you're operating as a sole proprietor or partnership here in Texas, you would register your assumed name at the county office. So I live here in San Antonio, Texas, so I would go file an assumed name in Bexar County. If you were living in New Braunfels, you would go to Comal County. If you were living in Seguin, you'd go to Guadalupe County. They're good for 10 years, right? And they cost less than $30 to get. If you are operating your business as a limited liability company, a corporation, limited partnership, any kind of entity formed at the state level, you do not need to go to the county to file your assumed name. You only need to register it with the Secretary of State. It costs $25. It's done on a form, something called a 503, and you would submit that to the Secretary of State, and they would file it as part of your limited liability company or corporation information. And remember, you need to file an assumed name if you are conducting business under any name that is not your official legal name with the Secretary of State. So if you were Becca's Biscuits LLC, right, doing business as Becca's Biscuits, because I dropped the LLC, I would need to file an assumed name, even if you're just dropping the LLC portion of your name for the purposes of branding and marketing. There's no limit to the number of assumed names that you can have, and in each instance, they're both good for 10 years. If you're still using the name as you approach the expiration of your 10 years, 6 months prior, you can simply file a renewal. But do understand, if you stop doing business under the assumed name, you should file a notice of abandonment, right? Or in the same with the county level, if you're no longer operating as a sole proprietor, let's say you decided to become an LLC and you're not using that sole proprietor name, you should file a notice of abandonment with the county. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you found this information useful.